If you are a subscriber and you've been following the journey of Iceco fridges that I've had, it has been a struggle. Morning, guys. Well, we're on this fun little road trip for my youngest son's birthday. And as some of the other videos I've talked about, it's over 100 degrees all week. And we were just saying how great it is to have the bus, have an amazing fridge. Half of it is refrigerator, the other half is a freezer. But as we woke up this morning, let me spin the camera around, I'll show you what's going on. All right, Iceco, it is 16 degrees and 45. You can see what I have it set to. It's supposed to be 38 as a refrigerator. This side's supposed to be 27 as a freezer. So all my stuff that was in the freezer is melted, and all the stuff in the fridge is now frozen solid. Now, first and foremost, I think I probably prefaced this with most of my videos, is the customer service from Iceco has been nothing but top-notch and absolutely fabulous every time I've had an issue. But I was about done with the VL65. I think this was my fourth one. I've forgotten how many have broke down and they've sent me. And this last time it broke down, they did not have any VL65s in stock. If you go watch those videos or put the cards up there, the VL65 is a 65, I guess, quart fridge. It's also a dual zone, 2 flip up lids, and it is also what I fabricated my cabinet to hold. Now, when I fabricated that cabinet before the Almost Baja trip, I had in mind a few other fridges that could fit in that space without having to do too much modifications, without having to pull the entire cabinet out, which I built everything modularly so I can, if I need to, pull that entire cabinet out and cut and weld and do a few other things. We will see today how the new fridge fits. That's a little bit of a clue, is we're getting rid of Iceco. However, when they did not have the VL65 in stock, I asked them if there's any way I could try a different fridge. That VL65, there has to be something messed up with it, because I'm not a full-time overlander. I'm not a van lifer. I do fun weekend and week-long plus adventures with my family, sometimes me and my dog. And there's no way that it just can't hold up, and I'm constantly having problems with it. So I think it was just doomed from the get-go, because if you look at the comment section from the Iceco fridges, they are filled with lots of good, happy people and customers that have had their Iceco in the back of their truck for 5 years. They've had it plugged into the garage, out in the sun. They've done all these things, and they've never had an issue with it. So I believe it had something to do with that VL65. And I say that with more time under my belt because this happened last year. And so before I left for another trip, and Iceco graciously sent me a new fridge, it was not the VL65. I decided to try one of their newer ones at the time, which I believe was last spring, a little over a year ago. We'll do some close-up shots here. Really kind of one of their new hardcore, I really like the black actually, kind of overlandy fridges that had some really cool features. It is a dual flex zone, and again, when you lift the lid, you can pull that divider out and then it becomes a solid single unit. But I love on a lot of my trips to be able to have a freezer section and a refrigerator section, so I can help control and moderate my meats and things of that for my trips. I like having ice in my cocktail, so I like having both. And I was tempted to go to a single fridge, single zone, and then potentially get a smaller freezer-only unit and run 2 separate units. And I still might do that for some longer trips we have planned. We will see. But I will tell you, before we get over the features of the APL, it has been flawless. Not a hiccup, not a bump in the road, and I think it's been about 1.5 years now. I think I've done 2 full summers with having stuff stored in here, including ice, which I will show you today. So that confirms my theory that the VL65 was just doomed from the get-go. There was something wrong with the way they built the compressor, with the way they fed coolant to both sides when you're running in dual modes. I don't know. I would avoid that like the plague. Now, saying that, this is, like I said, a dual zone with kind of a flexible section in the middle. It has one single lid, which I will take is not the greatest. The other problem that I had, and the biggest complaint I have with this fridge, is nothing wrong with the fridge. It's just the style of it needs to be kind of long and skinny. It needs to be in the back of some, FJ80 going across Africa and being pulled out and lifted up from the back to access its components. It really doesn't lend itself to the way I built it into this cabinet, where the old one was lifting from the side. This one is lifting off the end. And yeah, when you are living and doing trips in and out of these things, those little things matter. It also was a little bit smaller than I expected, so it didn't really fit that well in the space. It just wasn't ideal. But I will say, it has been a performer through several hot summers now, through winters, through everything else. I've had zero issues with it, which is a good thing. It reconfirms my sort of spirit in, do you need to spend $2,000 on an overland refrigerator when you can pick something up from $6? I think I got the original one for, or $800 from Iceco. They are continuing to innovate. They're continuing to push the limits and help all you guys out there who are looking for a refrigerator, because truthfully, the way power supplies and things have gotten cheaper, why would you put up with having to deal with ice? So with all of that said, I'm still very happy with Iceco. Unfortunately, it took, 4 years or whatever it was dealing with the VL65 and all of its hiccups and giving me anxiety, wondering if I'm going to lose all my food in a trip, because that has happened. And so I really couldn't trust it. This one is just a little bit small. It's great for when it's just the wife and I on trips, but for our family of 5, it is a little bit small. And that was another push, besides the form factor, to get another fridge in here. They really upped their game with this hardware, the big, thick, chunky aluminum hardware, as well as the spring-loaded handle. Again, all metal parts. Very pleased with that. All right, pardon my beautiful reflection over here in this nice black finish. But a couple things you're going to see. There are DC ports, standard, but there's also the identical one on the other side. There's also USB charging. Again, never used it, probably never will. And identical ports on the other side. So depending on how you have to have this mounted, it gives you options, which I thought was great. You're going to see the huge big venting here, pass through all the way to the front. This is plastic, but I have had zero issues with it. I really like the actual black finish. And you're going to see all big chunky metal hardware on here. So the spring-loaded handle, solid metal. All the hinges, solid metal. The clasp, which they do give you extra, which I was a bit worried about, because I was like, well, are you expecting this to break? But I've had zero issues with that. And of course, you've got 2 in order to open it up. To open it up from one side, nice big LED light in there. And you're going to see now, here's kind of the main zone. Right now, I've only got some Coke from a Coke and whiskey, a bottle of water. And then this flex zone turns into the freezer, which I've got solid bits of ice over there. And again, this is removable, which then it automatically detects over here. Automatically will detect which zone. So right now I've got that divider in. So I have 2 separate zones. One is at 24, one is at 35. You can intensify the brightness. You can change all your modes. It's very intuitive. And then of course you've got this little light, which I use once in a while for just a little night light. You've got the blue option and the white option. I wish it was a little bit more dimmable and controllable, but other than that, no issues at all. Then you're going to see nice big sort of grab handle. This over here, I could take it or leave it. Obviously, like I said, the form factor for this fridge is really designed to have in the back of your rig. So that way you can strap a tent or some chairs or something else onto here perhaps, but it's got some loops so you can run a strap over it. Maybe you need to secure it and run it sideways so this doesn't move at all. Then you can run it exactly through there and the fridge can't move. So it gives you some mounting options. Again, nice big bumpers, all solid metal handles, and absolutely flawless performance through 2 hot summers now. Hey guys, Wandering Beast here, coming to you from the future. Most of this video is all filmed back in November. The fridge is now long gone. It was sold and given to a friend of mine. It's got in the back of his Jeep, still working great. But I realized that I never touched base on the Bluetooth app when I filmed that back there. Now, there's kind of a reason for that. I never really had an issue with the app. The app worked well, it connected. For starters, it's just a generic fridge app. It's not Iceco branded. It's just a generic fridge app. And that was a little disappointing. Like I said, I never really had an issue with it connecting, but because of its lack of features, I also never really used it. I can certainly get up and push the buttons and change the temperature. What I was hoping for with something like a Bluetooth app is to allow proximity of parameters, if you will. Especially with my trust issues with Iceco Fridge, I wanted to get an alert on my phone if my freezer that was at 28 degrees is now at 55 degrees. A push alert system notification through the app, I think, is what that would be great for. I certainly don't need another app where I have to grab my phone, connect the Bluetooth, look at the temperature, pull the slider over, and change it from 38 to 36. That was never anything I was ever looking for. Maybe if you've got this in a trailer, it's not really accessible, or it's tucked away in a drawer and it's not easily visible. My fridges are right there built into the counter. So that was part of the reason. I guess it never really occurred to me. Talking to a friend of mine who was using it, he actually likes it. He keeps it in the back of his truck so he can kind of check it. It's not really as accessible, if you will, unless you're pulled over the side of the road, just so you can kind of monitor what it's supposed to be set at. But I think it needs more features. I think it needs to be an Iceco branded product. Certainly through a software update, I think you could easily set that to be a push notification when something goes wrong with your fridge. Say that your voltage drops below 11 volts, the fridge is now at 55 degrees and you got it set to 30. Those are the sort of things that we want to know. Now, the fridge I currently have now is a Snowmaster, and it does have a little portable remote that's magnetic, and I can just glance at it because the Snowmaster's screen is actually around the corner. So you kind of have to purposefully look over the corner and through like a cabinet to be able to see that. So I understand that aspect of it, depending on how you have it installed. I just never really found it useful for me. Now, back to the past. All right, guys, well, the APL55, again, not new to me, but new to the market a year or so ago. I've been really happy with it. And it's definitely designed for someone who has the, whatever you call it, landscape version. There will be some van lifers that will probably put it on a drawer slide, underneath a cabinet, back of a truck, SUVs, all that sort of stuff. There are also more accessories that came out with this. I believe there is a side Iceco battery that will magnetic to the side so you can run it portably. Because of its a little bit smaller size at 55 quarts, I believe, you can get a wheel kit for it. So it opens this up a little bit to be a little bit more portable. It's easier to move around. Certainly I wasn't going to move the VL65 around, but throw a wheel kit on this and a battery, and you can definitely take it and be a little bit more mobile with it. They've got some options. Again, Iceco is still constantly improving as well as innovating with their next few lines out there. It just wasn't for me. The way I designed this kitchen and the galley layout in the van, I really need a front loading piece. I really wanted to go back to a dedicated 2-zone so I can keep both zones or turn one off. That was the other thing with this flex zone, is that you always have to have the whole thing on, even in single mode. Where in the VL65, what I used to do is just turn off one half of the fridge completely and only run one when it was just my wife and I, or if I didn't need all of that space. The power consumption got quite lower as well. So nothing wrong with this fridge. It'll probably go on local marketplace, but I do have a new fridge that I designed to fit in this space almost. And we'll talk about that coming up. It rhymes with MoMaster. Thanks for watching, guys. Wandering Bee signing off. Hope all your summer has been amazing. Getting ready to go into fall. The leaves are falling. The snow's hitting the mountains. And yeah, let's get out there and make some videos and have some fun adventures. Take care. We'll see you down the road. Thanks for all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the adventure on social media, and we'll see you on the road.